getting past folks, this wouldn't be perfect. This is how you would jackpot drive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The jackpots are burning a lot, the grounds, as soon as the sun goes down, poof.
It's not sterilizing, yeah.
Welcome to the Lincoln Government Day meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Commission, Friday, February 6, 2028. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm Tom Rolfe. I'm chairman of the commission this year. Commissioner Payne is not here. She was ill this morning. Commissioner Andy Hunthausen. To my right, Sheriff Leo Dutton. And Under Sheriff Brett Colbert. Over here to the right. We've got Roger, I'm sorry. My brain just went dead. Yeah, Jessica Makis from Public Works Department, working on our different special improvement districts. Roger Baltz is the Chief Administrative Officer, and Amber from the Health Department is going to make a presentation as well. We'd ask that everybody who is here would sign the roster that's being sent around, put down your contact information, so if something comes up that we need to get a hold of you, we can do that. And there are copies of the agenda here. Hopefully there's enough for everybody. All right. One of the things that's quite important is that if you wish to ask a question or to speak, we ask you to come over to this podium to do that. State law now requires that we video copy all of our meetings, and that the only place where we've got our camera set up over here. So if you want to ask a question or make a statement, we ask that you move over to that podium and do it from over there. So probably we're just going to go down the list. We'll start off with the reports for the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Dutton.
Sheriff's Office. All right.
Sheriff's Office. I'm sorry.
Welcome, everybody. I usually don't get this kind of an audience. The blessing is you're not here to see me, so we can be friendly. I enjoy that. So I did take my wife to an orchard. We sat there and watched the apples for an hour. You know, finally she said, you know what? This is not the Apple Watch I wanted. It doesn't get any better, so make sure to buy. It can only get worse. So I want to talk to you about my last couple of months and things that are exciting that are going on in the Sheriff's Office. Just yesterday I was back in Washington, D.C. So if you wonder, well, why is the sheriff back in Washington, D.C.? It's kind of like asking John Dillinger why we're out banks. That's where the money is. So what we did is we met with all of our congressional representatives from Montana and a few others to talk about a few things that they just ended the shutdown, and where we're in a critical role is the grants. The FEMA grants and other grants that come through the Board of Crime Control. I'm the chairman of the Board of Crime Control. It's a pass-through agency that we get grants and they come to us to be able to do things for you. One of those things is a grant that operates what they call a Montana Mutual Aid program, where we pay a guy by the name of Jason Jarrett to go around and help around the state. such as lately up in Lincoln County seems to have got a lot of attention because of the flooding, the funeral. Then he was there with us in the Anaconda Deer Lodge manhunt, all those kind of things. What he brings is the ability to set people in motion, meaning we have a logistics officer. Tell you, as collegial competition goes with firemen, I can say it.
I'm after you, so just be careful.
That's not the word you were. But I gotta hand it to them. They are past masters at organizing, and the Forest Service, where we've learned a lot of this from, is incident management. And incident management saves time and saves money, because you get organized, you start assigning roles, and you know, and it also is good for safety. So, that was the report. I was there. I went back I represent Montana for the National Sheriff's Association. We also did a major, across the nation, we asked sheriffs to take on the position of doing public safety announcements about scams and about how these transnational organizations are targeting seniors with AI. And if you've got grandkids, they sound just like your grandkid. I need money. So what we're saying is, if you get one of those calls, just hang up. You can call my office, find out the truth. They're making a lot of money, folks. They really are. A sheriff down in Texas said they worked with a state organization and a federal organization and busted one of them. And now they're getting good enough that the money that they're getting, that's not good enough. They're having the seniors go out and buy gold. So they got they recovered more than $1 million, but unknown where all the victims were. Gold, some cash. It's just incredible. And they're at it because they're getting a lot of money. So what we're trying to do is put pressure on the president and Congress to get help from the National Security Committee. We need to go after these. I mean, if we can find Maduro, we can go after these we could do something about it. Other thing I want to talk to you about is that you didn't come here to listen to, but I'll take the opportunity. We are a member of the Missouri River Drug Task Force. The Drug Task Force has cooperated with local jurisdictions, state jurisdictions, and federal jurisdictions. We cannot reach the places that we need to go to bring these criminals to justice. So recently, we worked with Border Patrol for the last 20, 30 years. Recently, we did enter into agreement that put 2 agents from Border Patrol in our office in Helena and 2 in Bozeman. The agreement says that they will work on Title 21 and not Title 8. So what that means is they're going to be strictly working the drug enforcement. They're going to help us with human trafficking. They're going to help us with the sex trafficking. If you don't think that's here in Lincoln, Montana, it is. It really is. And we need all the tools we can get. So there's some upset people about that, and I get it. But there was the city police decided not to participate in the drug task force anymore because they got a lot of pressure. Now imagine that you're a city councilman and you have an audience like this, only 4 times as much. Understand, you gotta show up to have your voice heard, like you're doing today. I chose to stay in the task force. I'm the chairman of the task force. I believe in it. I would love at some point to give you a briefing on who we're dealing with. You'll sleep better me not telling you, I tell you that. It's scary, and we need to work together. This idea that we can pull back and silo is not acceptable to me. I can't do the job for you that I need to do if I don't pull in my horns and say, here's what we're gonna do. We each have our mission, but we need to get along. So the other thing that I'm gonna have is Sergeant Zach Freeman from the Highway Patrol, just so you think we're not the only ones in the room. And I know what you're thinking, I'm gonna get out early so I can speed home.
What time you leave, Leo?
I'm not telling what time I leave. Zach, you gotta come up front, cause Uncle Roger said the rules here, or actually Tom did. Uncle Roger's good about handing things in. The good news about the grants, but welcome.
Thank you.
Right.
I didn't come prepared for any awesome dad jokes. To begin. I'm Sergeant Zach Freeman. I've been with the Highway Patrol about 13 years. I started my career up in Havre and then transferred down to the Helena area. I'm a sergeant in this area, so I supervise a bunch of the troops. We have 2 detachments in Helena. We're now fully staffed, so you should be seeing some of our patrol cars up on these highways a bit more. Feel free to say hi when you see us. Hopefully it'll be a good encounter, right? Maybe really wave at us if you're speeding by. I don't have any data or a presentation. I just wanted to say hello. I don't know if there's any questions. I don't know if that's a time for this now, but I'm gonna scoot out of here.
I'm gonna introduce the other.
Oh, yep. The other compadre back here with me is one of my troops. His name is Bradley Smith.
Hi, Brad.
He's a dedicated public servant. He's got his irons and a lot of irons in the fire. He is a reserve deputy with Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office. He's the assistant chief at York Fire, and you're also an advanced EMT. So he's busy. He's like I said, he's dedicated to the job and to public service. So we're glad to have him on board.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Any questions for those guys? And I'm gonna ask everybody when you get up to the podium, please announce your name so that it goes on to the recording.
Thank you, Sergeant. I'm Sheriff Brent Colbert here. I'm gonna try to use the latest technology, and I don't have a joke like Leo's and the sheriff, because I've tried to follow him before and tried to do it, it just don't. He has the best jokes. So, I get to tell you the good news. So, your local deputy that's up here, Chance Hill, is all healed up from his injury, and he should be out here patrolling. He has been, I don't know if he's here today, but he's back, and you should see him out. We're glad he's back, and we're not gonna let him do things on his days off. Maybe we just won't let him have days off. So we'll just make him work all the time. You also have an Augusta deputy, Alicia Bragg, and you also have a Wolf Creek deputy, Max. You'll see them up here from time to time too. So we have the whole area covered, and it's a huge area to cover. One of the best news that we have is we usually get up here, me and the sheriff, and talk about the detention center and how we're still looking for people. We still are looking for people, but I think I reported the last time I was here, I felt we were on an uptick on hiring good people to watch after our bad people. And we are that way. In various stages of hiring, we're 23 people that are gonna be new, either already started or on their way to being started. And that's the most we've had in a long time since we've renovated the jail. 23 is a lot of people. Their field training officers that they're gonna have in the jail are going, oh my God, what are you doing? We're giving you people that you need. Sorry, it's gonna be busy for you, but it's gonna be busy for you, and we like that kind of busy. So we'll get those people hired in there. As far as deputies, we're down 2, and we are hiring, or we're doing interviews for them. I think it is next week or the week after, something like that, and we'll get those up here. And anything else we can help you with, you can grab me or the sheriff on after the big meeting here. So, thank you.
All right. Community council report. First of all, any questions for the sheriff's department? Or sheriff's office or the highway patrol? All right, community council, Zach Minzy.
As usual, not a lot that isn't public works. You're the only one here today, aren't you? Do you have a report for Public Works? I do. Okay. I'll let her handle that part. Elections, we have 3 open seats and then 2 up for renewal, so we have a total of 5 available seats. If you haven't put in your paperwork, it's too late, but we can still appoint you. If you're interested, please let me know, or Cindy, Kevin, and Rick. So, and I know a couple of them are running again, so at minimum, we'll still have 3 vacancies. And we are the ones that take your information, your concerns, questions, compile it, give it to the county. Without you guys talking to us, giving us your thoughts and opinions on what's going on, we can't give them suggestions from the whole community, relying on us 3 people, 4 people to figure out what is gonna be best for the whole community, and we don't want that. We want everybody to have a say. So please get involved, 3rd Tuesday every month, 6:30 right here. And you know where to find me if you have questions. We did do a letter of support for the tourism grant. And then we also did a letter of support for the Lincoln Prosperity Proposal. Just kind of updating things on that. And then one thing I haven't talked a lot about is we're looking at trying to get new fire station, which if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it big. And this is, I wanna make it clear, we're not going to the taxpayers. If we can't do it with grants and all that stuff, it's not gonna happen. But the sheriff got a hold of me several months ago about, it's easier for us to get grants from the fire side than it is for law enforcement. There's just not a lot out there. For us, there's a lot out there. They're not always easy to get. But they're building the substation out there with a World War II bunker. I mean, it's old, it's falling apart. It needs a whole lot of work. Plus the county, Public Works actually owns it. So instead of them putting a whole bunch of money into that, we decided to join and try and get an emergency operations center right there on Stemple where our 2 stations are, which more than likely would mean that those would get bulldozed and it would be fire, EMS, and law enforcement, one-stop shop. I mean, we all work together so much and we're all scattered all over the valley here. We have trucks everywhere. It'd be nice to get a majority of everything right in one spot. So we did put in for a grant for a preliminary architectural review design. So that's what, we did get that grant. Right now, we had a bunch of the architecture firms come out Tuesday, I think it was. I kind of gave them a tour so that they can know what we're looking at and if they want to bid on it. And then they design it, tell us what we can do, can't do, what it's gonna cost, things like that, give us a rough idea. So that's where we're at right now. I mean, I think for what we're looking, it's gonna be $7 million probably. But again, we're going for grants. Ann McCauley with the county is awesome with the grants, and she's kind of ramrodding that. So stay tuned on that. I'm hoping it happens before I retire. But, and that is about all we had that wasn't Public Works. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions for the community council? And then, did everybody hear that they're short of members on the council? So if you're interested at all, get together with Jack and make sure, get your name in, and if you put your name in for a request, we can maybe get some appointments done to fill some of those spots. And you do have 2 of them coming up at the election in June, right?
Yes, two open for that, and then 3 just are vacant right now.
Yeah, so, please think about it. I know they want some extra help. All right, let's go on to the Forest Service. Jim Yarborough. Again, if you'll say your name so the camera picks it up.
Copy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jim Yarborough, Lincoln District Ranger. Not a lot more to report this time around than last, but we're still working through all the below down out there, and we will be for a while. We're very short-staffed, and it'll be that way for the summer. So hopefully we do get everything cleared by the end of summer, or actually for the middle of summer, but when everything comes off the passes, all the snow melts off the passes. But we're working on it. We're kicking off NIFMA, which is the National Forest Management Act, on the Ogden Portman project. That's the project on the south side of the valley, the south side of the district. We're doing fuels over there, and we're looking for timber. We're gonna go over there and start trying to bring that landscape back into compliance with the forest plan. So, we have folks out there right now, and we're putting the polygons together and working through the process. It's a longer process than most. Lincoln Springs is underway. The contract is being built currently. And so we'll probably start looking to see activity out there when the snow comes off. It won't be logging activity straight away because the ground's too soft. So we keep loggers off the forest floor until the ground's acceptable for the logging equipment. So I don't have much else to report, Mr. Chairman, that's it.
All right. Any questions for the Forest Service for Jim? Any questions? Okay, thank you. All right, DNRC, we got somebody.
Yes, sir. Hi. My name is Kristen Baker Dickinson, and I'm one of the local managers. I cover everything from Clearwater over here to Lincoln. I just had a couple of updates for you today. We're in the process of hiring our seasonal firefighters, and in addition to that, we do have a tentative plan to bring in some additional overhead, so you'll actually see an expansion of our role here. And the second update I had was just regarding the blowdown that's on DNRC. We are aware of some of it, possibly not all. You know, if there's something that you're concerned about, I'll make sure that the contact information is updated there at the office. I have been staffing more at the office, and we have one of our local foresters meeting with at least one local logger to start lining out a plan for initial cleanup there as well. We don't have as big of a footprint here in the valley, so we don't have the intensity of damage that the Forest Service does, but we are certainly interested in cleaning it up. So, does anybody have any questions? Okay, short and sweet. Thank you, guys.
Any questions? Any questions? Okay. We'll go on to Public Works Report.
Okay, thank you, Chair Ralph. My name is Jessica Makis. I'm the Special Districts Coordinator for Lewis and Clark County within the Public Works Department. I'll start with some Public Works updates, and then I'll talk a little bit about the rural improvement districts here in Lincoln. There's obviously not much snow to maintain right now, but that is giving our road crew and our rural improvement district project managers a little bit of extra time to plan some of our summer work. Usually our roads are snow covered right now, and we have to rely on our crack counts and things like that from October to plan our summer work, but we're able to get some more accurate counting right now, which is helpful. Just as a reminder, the road operator position in Lincoln, there's still a vacancy there, so that's been open since October. If you know anybody interested with a CDL, we'd love to see some applications to get that position filled if possible. Kenny, our road operator stationed here in Lincoln, was able to fill in the rough ridge ends on North Beaver Creek with some gravel. Stemple is requiring almost daily maintenance with the rocks coming off. That's not unusual for Stemple, but it's an unusual time to have that happen. That's usually something we have to do around April. We realize some of those gravel roads are getting to be in rough shape. This is a tricky time. We're just getting a lot of freeze thaw. If we get out there with the grader right now, they're just frozen enough to make a real mess. So crews are trying to keep them as smooth as possible, recognizing this is just a challenging winter for that. Public Works and Planning Departments are also supportive of the Lincoln Tourism Grant that Zach mentioned, and we'll plan to assist if that is successful to help promote economic growth here in Lincoln. The one thing I do want to mention that's new, Lewis and Clark County worked with our communications officer to start a report it tool that's on our website. So we'll still take all the calls and everything like that, but right on the first page of the website, if you look at where we have like jobs and bids and things like that, right on that first homepage, there's a report it tool. And if you click on that, this is a web-based map where you can report any road issues that you're seeing in your community. So where you live, if it's something that the road department maintains or it's maintained through a rural improvement district, you can use that tool to click right on the location. This is great for reporting potholes or rough areas, things like that. Street signs that may have blown down. This was a big thing we dealt with that windstorm. Any kind of stop signs or anything that's an emergency, that's still going to be a 911 dispatch. But for all non-emergency things, you can use this web tool to report that. We think it's going to be a really efficient way for us to see some of that and hopefully help not to have so much duplication. If you do put a report in there, you'll be able to track that over time and see when that report is received and watch the progress of that. There's also a place where the county staff can fill that out to let you know a sign's been ordered, we anticipate putting that in a couple of weeks, or that timeline for repair as well. Let's see, okay. Moving on to rural improvement districts. That's what I primarily cover for Public Works. There are 3 rural improvement districts within the Lincoln community. There's one on 4x4 Road. There's one that covers the majority of Lincoln, and then there's a smaller one that covers just the northeast corner behind the school, which is the Lampkins Rural Improvement District. These districts have a special assessment that's added to tax bills to cover the road maintenance in those areas. The 4x4 RID is just for 4x4 road, and that just covers the soil stabilization and dust suppressant that gets put on there. The county does all the grading, all of the snow removal. That district just covers that magnesium chloride application to keep the dust down and keep that gravel surface in good shape. That district was created in 2019. It has 121 benefiting properties. That assessment was $74.56 per property per year up until last year. We saw a growing cash balance beyond what we needed to continue to do that work. The county road department does put that application on there, which saves money. Last year we lowered that assessment down to $60 per property per year. Moving forward to this year, I think we can lower that down another $10 to be $50 per property per year. So that'll go, that has to be passed through resolution, that has to be legally noticed. Everybody will get a legal notice in the mail describing that, and then we'll pass that before our commission in another public hearing. But I just wanted to let you know that update.
Are you sure a drop in taxes?
Not a tax, it's a special assessment. So for that one, I do want to talk about the other 2 districts though. Lampkins RID, this is again is that area behind the school, a smaller area. This district was created to maintain those hard surface roads back there. It was created in 1989. This RID covers things like pothole patching, crack sealing, and the big thing is chip sealing. So that happens, it's a low frequency but high cost maintenance item. So that happens every 7 years. We did this in 2022, but the district did not have enough money to cover the full amount of that cost. We had to take a loan out. What we've been doing since that time is keeping a really close eye on that cash balance to try to make sure we're able to hit that 2029 cycle and not have to take another loan. So we're keeping an eye on that, but right now we are projecting a shortfall for that 2029 cycle. So what our strategy has been to do smaller increases over that 7-year cycle to make sure we hit that mark, but that we're not giving you a huge increase right before the chip seal cycle. So that one, the current assessment there, this one's assessed a little differently. It's assessed by square footage abutting the road. Right now that assessment is 0.007 cents per square foot. that averages out to about $114 per property per year for that assessment. Looking into that chip seal in 2029, right now I project about a $24,000 shortfall. So I would propose for 2026 to increase that assessment to 0.0098 cents per square foot, or an average of about $160 per property per year. So looking at about a $46 per year increase for those properties to try to avoid that loan scenario. That one I do think should go up. Looking at the third district, the Lincoln district, which covers most of the roads in this community, this one covers again that crack seal, the chip seal, and any pothole patching that's needed. The county road department takes care of all the snow removal, the sweeping, it does the grading on the gravel surface roads. This district covers most of Lincoln, like I said. This district right now is $120 per property per year, with 337 benefiting properties. Currently, we're projecting about a $5,000 shortfall for 2029. We haven't had that much patching or crack sealing in the last few years. I'm gonna hold this one. I think I'm gonna recommend we stay at this current assessment for this year and see how that balance goes. It doesn't mean we may need one more increase before that chip seal cycle, but right now, I'm gonna wait and see. So, those are the projections for the RIDs for this coming season. We generally send out all of that legal notice in the summer, and then hold public hearing to consider those resolutions and hear public comments on those assessments at a later date. But just wanted to use the opportunity for an update there. Take any questions?
You need to come up here, you have to come up and state your name and then ask your question.
My name's Doug Richards, most of you know me. My wife and I have been school bus contractors here for about 31 years. And anytime I've been to one of these meetings, this is the first time I've been to one in a while, we've always been told school bus routes have priority. That's not been the case. Temple Pass Road up to Twin Gulch is a bus route. And that road right now is in the worst shape I've ever seen it in 31 years. We keep and maintain the school buses on North Lincoln Gulch Road. That road, we've been living there for 15 years. No, kids do not ride on that road, get picked up or dropped off. But we do travel it every day. It's the worst I've ever seen it. And I know you said operator availability and experience is a problem. It shouldn't be my problem though. I've had 2 flat tires on the bus that goes on Temple Pass in the last 2 weeks, which has never happened before. Maybe 2 a year is typical. And as far as snow removal on the school bus routes, I do travel from Sucker Creek Road behind the school and into the schoolyard. There was a couple different times this year that snow was unmanageable to drive through, it hadn't been plowed yet. This is the first time that's ever happened, it was this winter. I just want to bring that to everybody's attention. And my wife talks to Kelly periodically, is that his name?
Kenny.
The local guy?
Kenny, yeah.
Teddy?
Kenny.
And she does bring it to his attention, and the last text he wrote her, I feel your pain, I travel it every day. Well, I just don't get it done. That's my concern. Thank you.
Others?
My name's Kathy Mann, I live on Dalton, and that is a horrid road. I noticed when he did the plowing, or when he tried to fix the road, there's boulders coming out of that road, and they leave them. I walk Dalton every day, I throw them in the ditch, he pulls them back up. There's more holes there now after he plowed, or after he wrote them, than there ever was before. And the bridge is horrible. The south end of the bridge is horrible. Thank you.
Other questions or comments for Jessica? For Public Works.
Thank you, Chair Ralph. Thank you, Mr. Richards and Ms. Mann, for your comments. I can take those to our Public Works Director and also our road supervisor. I wrote those down in detail, and I'll address those with those guys on our Monday morning meeting. So thank you for that.
Mr. Chair, Jessica, just to maybe comment, some of these things that have been observed, using this new tool might be helpful for a timely response. So if they wait till this meeting, it's maybe a month later, if they could get on, say, hey, the end of the bridge is really bad right now, we'll get that notice.
Thank you, Chair Ralph, Commissioner Hanhausen, thank you for that. That is a great opportunity. This tool was just launched at the end of last month, so it's very, fairly new. But staff are checking that every single day and working through that process. So that is a great avenue to report things right away, and you can always still call our office at any time as well. So, but to those specific comments, I will take those back to Public Works. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions there? All right. Health Department, Amber.
Yeah.
Well, greetings. My name is Amber Johnson. I'm with Lewis and Clark Public Health. Good morning, Commissioners, and good morning to half the population of Lincoln, Montana. I think word got out that I was about to do a thrilling show and tell, and so thank you for coming for this. Since in the absence of Chairwoman Payne is not here, and I know she hates acronyms, so I'm going to take this opportunity to share a lot of acronyms with you in her absence, but I will spell them out for you. So I'm here to do a presentation today on PHEP, which is Public Health Emergency Preparedness. Now, I'm sure many of you here, especially if you're in law enforcement, everyone in the health department is trained in basic ICS, and that means Incident Command System. It's a national platform or national system for emergency response and preparedness. So more often than not, public health is usually called in as backup. We don't take the lead on most emergencies, and that could range from anything from infectious disease to natural disasters, like biological contamination, like if a train was to tip over and cause a noxious spill. Right, obviously the health department, together with other agencies, would get involved. But what we like to do on just a regular basis when we're not in emergency is to really promote preparedness. And it's not lost on me that I'm doing a preparedness presentation for the people of Lincoln, Montana, which I'm sure many of you here would be like, I could give this presentation. Let me grab my notes real quick. We do have in the county, and we have the DES, which is our Department of Emergency Services. Maybe some of you know Kyle and Autumn, and they really do take the lead and do a lot of the work to both respond to emergencies in our community as well as to prepare people for them. You know, I think probably the most common one here in Lincoln is going to be fire. So as a health department, when there is a major fire, and there's a lot of, we talk a lot about wildfire smoke, and we talk a lot about particulates. Have you heard about that? Particulate 2.5 is the most damaging to human health. And unfortunately, when people live in environments where they have a lot of chronic exposure to wildfire smoke, after a while that really can impact human health, particularly rough on high-risk populations, which would include children and babies. You know, they have smaller lungs, and so when they're inhaling small particulate, it impacts them to a more severe degree, as well as our elderly population, our people with chronic health conditions, especially people with cardiovascular diseases or pulmonary diseases. So when a wildfire event happens, obviously we look to the sheriff and to our DES, and they do a lot of the response, and we try to help with information about how you can keep yourselves and your family safe during a wildfire event, which includes HEPA filters, sealing your windows and doors, making sure that you're like limiting burning candles and cooking on the stovetop, so that you're just as much as we're able protecting our health during a wildfire event. The first 72 hours of a disaster are the most critical, especially if it's a major disaster. And often we only have so many first responders. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we prepare for this in advance, right? Preparedness is all. So one, we would encourage you, if you haven't, to get signed up for emergency alerts. There are systems that will send everybody here an emergency alert. However, we do have a reverse 911 with the county that you can get signed up on. If you can visit our website and sign up for Smart 911, and that'll just kind of keep you in the know, because knowledge is power, and you can kind of be ahead of the curve and prepare yourself for whatever's coming. And then we also like to talk about just making a plan. That includes with your family, like you make a communications plan, you make a response plan so that you know where to go, and how to connect if, information, gets shut off. In addition, we always encourage, we call it the go bag. I have one that I put in my car during the winter, and this is my general emergency bag. And then I use this is my winter supplement. My winter supplement includes everything from like a wool blanket to an old pair of boots, some wool socks, hats, gloves, hand warmers, warm clothes. You live here in Lincoln, and I'm sure that you travel outside of Lincoln to go shopping, or maybe you never leave Lincoln, I don't know. But being able to be prepared on the road for winter conditions, if something were to happen, is always a wise plan. So I keep my winter supplement in my car, and then this is my emergency bag. You're welcome to, after we wrap up here, you're welcome to look through it. I could totally be Mary Poppins right now and dig into it and see what I pull out, but I'll spare you. It has everything from a shovel to a multi-tool to, like a plastic bag full of matches. It's just things that if we're ever in an emergency and we lose, communications channels, we, get, like the roads are closed or blocked. You can't get to the grocery store. Do you have food and water? Do you have supplies that for at least 72 hours before first responders can get to you, that you can be comfortable and confident that you're gonna be okay and your family's gonna be okay. Now, this took me months to put together. And there is an investment. And so I don't necessarily think that you have to do it all in one day, but piece by piece, if you put together a little emergency kit, it's kind of like that security blanket that if something were to go wrong, that you just have, you can fall back on the comfort knowing that you are prepared and you're gonna be okay. You can help yourself, you can help your family, and hopefully you can also help your neighbor. So speaking of neighbors, we are hoping, we're in the process of creating a program about neighborhood preparedness. Because again, we're grateful for our first responders, but there's not enough of them. If we were to be in a large-scale disaster, especially within those first 72 hours, there's only so many first responders to go around. So it's figuring out how can I best know and care for my neighbor. And so we're working on a neighborhood preparedness project. Hopefully it's gonna roll out this summer. And it's really, we're hoping to give grants to community members to champion block parties in their neighborhood where they can, we live in a very disconnected, isolated time of life where we just don't know our neighbors. And maybe here in Lincoln, you do know your neighbors better than in other like larger urban settings. But being able to know your neighbor and know if they have access or functional needs, like for example, if the power were to go out and you know that your neighbor, their life depends on electricity and their oxygen machine, right? Which needs electricity to function. So it's like knowing your neighbor and knowing the access and functional needs of your community, so that if something unfortunate were to happen, that as a community, that you're not just prepared to take care of yourself, but you're also prepared to take care of your neighbor. I don't know about you, but that's the type of world that I want to live in, where we're not just islands that care only about ourselves, but that our health and our happiness is dependent on the general health and peace of our neighborhoods as well. So feel free to come and check. I have some handout, like I brought these. You can pass them around if you would like. It is recommended items to include in a basic emergency kit. It's from FEMA, ready.gov. Again, I realize I'm giving a presentation in Lincoln, Montana, and you guys might already have your go bag prepared, but especially because if you don't, and we know that you live in a very, an environment that is prone to wildfires. So if you haven't created a go bag yet, I would really encourage you to do so, and I'll hand these out and it might give you a little inspiration. You're probably not gonna gather all this stuff overnight, but you could, pick one thing off the list, one at a time, and preparedness is all. So thank you for your time. Thank you for coming out to my show and tell. And I'll pass these around. Any questions? Any comments?
Under Sheriff Brent Colbert again, thank you for doing this, that's awesome. It is active 911 that we need people to get signed up on. Zach, you know just as well as I do, when we always get up here when there is a fire and the emergency is happening at this time, and we all sit up here and say, you need to sign up for active 911, because I don't remember, usually Kyle will give you the exact statistic of how many people have signed up for that, and it's very few. You would think it's easy, it takes a couple minutes. You can get to it from the county website, you can get to it from the sheriff's website, you can get to it from the 911 website, it's all over the place. Click on the button, it'll come up, ask you a few questions, your phone number, you're in, and you get all of the updates, all of the emergency stuff. So again, it's better to do it now than when we're knocking on the door saying it's an emergency. So thank you for doing that.
And just a reminder, again, during a wildfire event, speaking about preparedness, like protecting your health specifically, not so much your property, your health. Again, seal your windows and doors. If you have the money, buy a HEPA filter or two for your home. They sell them at Costco for usually $100, $120. We are trying to find the money to be able to purchase filters that we can lend out to the community. We're not there yet, but we're working on it. But again, seal those windows and doors. Put on those HEPA filters. Remember to clean your filters as well. After a certain amount of time, they are not effective anymore. Again, limit burning food and candles in your home. And we like to think of it as a clean room. Make yourself a clean room where you and your family can hang out, do a puzzle, watch a movie, whatever, but where you know that you're surrounded by filtered good air, because I think we're gonna find out in the next 10 or 20 years just how terrible chronic exposure to wildfire smoke is on human bodies. Obviously, I mean, I grew up in the Mountain West, and the wildfires that we're seeing now is like nothing I ever saw as a child, and I'm sure that you can relate. So I think it's only a matter of time before we see the real fallout. And there are things that you can do to protect yourself, but again, you have to be in the know, and then you gotta make yourself ready. Might take a few days of your time, but it's worth it.
All right, any questions for Amber? Any questions for health related? All right. Roger, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. We're going to the public comment, and we try to provide some time at the end of each meeting that if you have concerns that need to be brought up that are not the things on our agenda, that you're welcome to do it. And we like to remind you that we are not able to make decisions that based on your comments today, because we are required that before we make any decisions about things, we're required to give 48 hours, at least 48 hours notice before we go into a decision-making process on any item. So we're happy to hear what your concerns are, and if you have concerns, we'd like to have you come up here to the desk and announce your name and give your concern, and we'll be happy to listen to what you have to say. Yeah, and before Leo had a point of personal privilege you want to.
Seeing as how I have so many here, I wanted to address a rumor and a couple of things. One is I lost weight on purpose. I did it under the doctor's care. I don't know how many people have told me, the guy tried to sell me a casket, and I said, that's the last thing I need. But, see, I told you to get worse. Anyway, that was a thing that I've done it. St. Peter's has helped me do that. And the second thing is that I'm running for re-election. Safety, service, trust. I enjoy working with you. I enjoy the team that we built. We can always get better. Thank you. I know you're here for something else.
Now, one thing I do want to mention that it's we're asking for comments on things over which we do in fact have jurisdiction. So there may be some other things coming up where we don't have jurisdiction on, but we ask for comments on things where we do have jurisdiction. So who has something to say?
I just want to make a quick announcement before we get into whatever
If you come over and give your name, Roger, and
I'm Roger Day. Since the tourism grant was brought up, I thought I'd mention it. I'm the chairman of the steering committee for the tourism grant. We did submit it last month. We should find out if we're going to get it in about a month, give or take. It's $2.75 million. We got 3 major projects that are involved in it. If we don't get it, we're going to try again next year. And if we don't get it that year, we'll try again next year. But I'm confident we're going to get it. We got an extremely strong grant put together. It does cover 5 years. And the thing I would really ask people in this audience, if you're a business owner or know a business owner, get them involved in the Chamber of Commerce, because once that 5-year window is up, somebody's going to have to take charge and maintain this. We also, Lincoln does have a community foundation. It's not active locally. We could bring that back and continue to raise funds to support the stuff that's happening with this and support additional projects. That's all I have. I just want to let you know where things are at right now. I know not everyone's a fan of tourism. I'm not entirely either, but it is the only economy we have. Anybody have any questions for me?
any questions for Roger?
All right.
Thank you.
On to the show.
All right. All right, any other comments that anyone would like to make? Any item that is a public matter within the jurisdiction of the commission, but not on today's agenda? Yes, ma'am. You'll come up here, state your name, and
All right, my name is Tammy Jordan. I am a community member of Lincoln. I've been here about 15
pardon me, would you say that your name?
Sure, Tammy Jordan.
Okay.
I've been here for about 15 years. This is my first government day meeting. Thank you for all coming to see me too. As you know, there has been a lot of issues going on with our current sewer board. And you've seen the Facebook post, you've seen the information that's been available to you. I've tried to be as accurate as I can without being emotional. I am emotional. I'm not used to speaking in front of a group of people like this, so this is really nervous. I'm really nervous.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Bingo.
Okay, I'm used to speaking in front of that group. At any rate, I've tried to be as factual as I can. I am getting the information from the people that I think we can. My question for county commissioners at this meeting is, with all of the transgressions that this current board has done over the last several months, and it was our county commissioners who, my understanding, that appointed this board, why the county commissioners now feel they have no jurisdiction over it. I would like some sort of an answer to that. I know you can't make any decisions, but I think this community deserves an answer as to why you appointed them, but you won't do anything about the problem at this point.
All right, we're gonna see if there's any other comments, and then we'll try to answer. Any response we make would be at the end. Is there? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Susan Gehring. I am a current board member on the sewer district. I am with Tammy on not being a public speaker and being nervous, so bear with me. It's been a very frustrating 6 months. We've had a lot of transgressions by board members on the sewer board. First of all, I would like to read a letter from Lori Welty. She wasn't able to attend today, but she sent a public comment. This is regarding the sewer district. Dear County Commissioners, community concerns regarding 2 current sewer district board members came to a head at the recent public meeting on February 3rd. Record attendance at this meeting demonstrated collective alarm at the appalling representation from board members Eric Gould and Mike Winters at the meeting, punctuated by multiple calls for their resignations. While the formal recall process for Mr. Gould and Mr. Winters is underway, my concern is our community is at risk waiting for this process to conclude. I would include a tedious recital of the documented examples demonstrating these 2 board members' blatant infractions of the sewer board bylaws and the Montana Code annotated, but we'll focus on the most recent and egregious actions for the two employees. Manager Certified Operator Chris Martin and Secretary Bookkeeper Sarah Towns. Neither of these individuals were removed from their duties in accordance with the sewer bylaws, and the removal of Chris would place this district in DEQ noncompliance as outlined by Montana administrative rules of Montana Code 1738-249. Beyond the obvious health and safety risks to our community, absent a certified operator, ratepayers are potentially exposed to financial liability should the affected employees seek legal recourse. Additionally, these developments have thrown the district financials into chaos once again with the removal of Sarah Towns, who is not only highly qualified for the job she was hired to do, but also highly respected within the community. I am not the only ratepayer that will be withholding payment of this month's billing while we await an identified resolution. Eric Gould and Mike Winters have continually demonstrated a disregard for the community and a disturbing lack of transparency. Not only has their unprofessional manner contributed to contentious meeting environments, the public has been made aware of punitive and often borderline abusive emails directed to fellow board members, community members who challenge them in any way. This community has suffered enough under the actions of past and current board members. I am one of many voices that is begging the board of the county commissioners to step up and be willing to take action pursuant to Montana Code annotated 742110. I believe that the potential for county supervision of official conduct will go a long way towards reining in the unethical and unauthorized actions by Mr. Gould and Mr. Winters while recalls proceed. Respectfully, Lori Welty, which I have copies of that for the commissioners. I also brought copies of emails from that outline the beginning of the issues with the employees, and copies of minutes from the meeting where the most recent board member who was sworn in, it was made clear to the board members that he was not eligible to serve on the board. He did not own property. Proof was shown that he was not on a current lease in the district, and both the Mark Dawkins and Eric Gould lied in that meeting, said that he was on the lease. We had a copy of the lease, he was not on it. And the other two, those four board members, or three board members, voted him in, having that information, knowingly voted in a non-compliant. And I have been completely frozen out. They are now meeting secretly, three of the board members, making decisions. The decision to put the three employees on unpaid administrative leave was done by them in a secret meeting without my knowledge. They have since, one board member fired the secretary after that. They sent out a letter to terminate our manager. Although yesterday, I believe, one board member met with our manager and reinstated him. So this is what's going on in this board, and the county commissioners have some type of oversight. We are in the process of doing a recall petition. My concern is that in the meantime, who knows what's going to happen. These board members, these rogue, I'm going to refer to them, board members, have stated that they are going to bring out an outside bookkeeper from outside of our community. We are still dealing with the theft from the previous board and employees. We are not comfortable as a community to bring in somebody from outside that isn't here, isn't going to be in the office, isn't going to answer the phones, and they have no authority to make these decisions in their secret meetings. So I have copies of Lori's letter, the email that shows the email that shows they knowingly installed a board member who was not, did not meet the requirements, and the emails of how they, where the war started with our bookkeeper, because she corrected them on the way they were running the meetings and on their making decisions out of turn. Sorry, I shouldn't have left. I wasn't done.
I do have one more. My name is Tammy Jordan again. I have one more addition to make to that. In the process of, and I'm speaking for someone, if somebody would like to speak to them directly, it's Melody McDonough who has passed this information along to me. I have it in writing on a text. She delivered the new candidacy election forms to the elections office 2 days ago. While she was there, she spoke with Connor in the elections office, who stated that Eric Gould then presented him with a lease, the lease in question, where he is the only signer according to the property owner. He presented a falsified document to the county elections office showing Mark Dawkins as a lessee on that building. And I think that that also needs to be, I think our public needs to know that.
Any other comments?
Chris Martin, not a public speaker, my apologies. Lincoln Sewer District Manager. So this has been going on. They have made it, these two individuals, Eric Gould and Mike Winters, have made it clear that the MCAs and the bylaws do not apply to them because if they followed them all, they couldn't get things done, which is just untrue. There's a proper procedure and rules for a reason, but they have made it very clear and blatantly said that they are above the bylaws and the MCA rules. So I just want to put that out there too. Any questions?
Any other comments? Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Richard Cosmer from Lincoln. I know the sewer district issue is big on everybody. I don't have a tooth in the fight, but I'm here to offer a suggestion. The county commissioners could, by law, appoint an ex officio to help the sewer board. That's well within their rights and perfectly legal for them to do so. And this would help the sewer board, it would help the constituents, and it would help the district. And it would give oversight of the county through the county commissioners as well. So that's a suggestion, and I hope that you guys consider it. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments?
Oh, another one. Roger Bay again. Regarding the sewer district, I firmly believe that Mark Dawkins has no business being on the board because he's not a resident of the district. He owns some property in the district. Whether he's a signer on a lease has been irrelevant since 2017. State law was changed in 2017 to reflect only property owners and residents. However, they changed it in 2025 to allow members of organizations or corporations that own property in the district, which he also is not. He could be made an ex officio non-voting member. However, I would seriously advise against making him that because he hasn't been involved in a number of legal meetings that have been unnoticed as required by Montana Code Annotated open meeting laws. And I think that's all I really have to say. I do not think he should be involved in this district at all. Yeah, I could say more, but it would probably get a little unpleasant.
Yes, sir.
Mike Witterhold, concerned citizen. I just have a quick question. So are you back to work?
Yes, so Eric has, sorry, no worries.
Big old hands.
Yeah. So Chris Martin, DEQ contacted me earlier this week and stated they're doing an inspection on the lagoon grounds next Wednesday. They pretty much said, we're aware of what's going on, we don't care, get your butt out there. So I went to Eric and talked to him, and he has reinstated me starting Monday. So me and Troy Atwood will be out there.
That's very good, because my concern is if we don't have an operator, is the sewer condemned? Shut down businesses, remove people from their homes kind of thing, right? So it's good news, thank you.
One more.
Jack, you'll need to do it, come over here.
On my way.
And state your name again.
Richard Cosner, Lincoln. Just to clarify, I'm not recommending Mark Dawkins as the ex officio. I'm recommending that the county commissioners appoint their own ex officio. I don't believe that anybody other than somebody that you guys appoint would be qualified to fill that position.
Okay, is there any further public comment?
Mr. Chairman. Am I supposed to? Leo Dutton, Sheriff. So this is not the first time that we've had consternation and dysfunction with the sewer board, if I recall. So I would suggest, and how we did it last time, someone approached my office, but the things that I've written down, and I don't know, but the things I've written down really fall squarely on the county attorney's office. As the county attorneys, because you're governmental, the sewer board is elected on their own, and it's a governmental entity of its own. So the county does have a duty to represent, and that would be the county attorney's office to send somebody up. So that's how we did it last time. Questions I would ask about what you said would be malfeasance of office, open meeting violation laws. You've mentioned falsification of documents. Those are the questions. Can you prove or bring it up? But as a board member, that's where I would aim you.
Okay.
Just personally aim, nothing else.
Actually, Monday we visited with
You gotta
Andy,
come up
and
here.
we came over to file a, oh, sorry.
You look better than me anyway.
Susie Gearing. We visited with Andy, myself and the two employees visited with Andy on Monday. We did come to file a report with but there was nobody in the office.
You should have paid me that day.
I guess we did. We will follow up with that, Leo. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Any other comments?
I would just like to clarify one thing, thank you.
Okay, right.
Roger Day again. Apparently I like being up here. I would just, regarding what your comment about the county attorney, under MCA 7 for 2121 or 2110, that falls under county commissioners, supervision of county and other officers. Under subsection A, it says supervise the official conduct of all county officers and officers in all districts and other subdivisions of the county in charge of assessing, collecting, safekeeping, managing, or dispersing public revenue. So by my reading of that, and I'm not a lawyer, to me that says the county commissioners do have some authority to at least supervise and see what's going on, and make sure they're doing it the right way. I understand why you don't want to get involved in trying to remove the board or anyone on the board, because that gets into litigation, which can take a long time. We're working through elections and recalls, but I do believe that under that law, which is also referenced in the sewer district bylaws, the Lincoln Lewis Park County Sewer District, that gives you at least some authority for oversight. That's all I have. Thanks.
What was that, again?
Sorry, 7/4/2110.
All right. What we got right there? Oh, you got it right there. All right. Any further comments? Yeah.
Excuse me. I appreciate, Sheriff, what you have to say and the direction that you gave to go to the county attorney. We did that back in 2000. I think you remember when we first got started in it. We had a very long-term district at that time. And there were questions and stuff that came up. And we brought it where we'd like to get some information from the county attorney. We hit roadblocks, left and right, and it is multiple roadblocks from different agencies pointing their finger. This is the first time, Sheriff, that I've ever heard from somebody with authority to tell us here in Lincoln that our districts, we have responsibility of. State law gives us that. But when we got individuals that are changing things to include applications where there's a $1,500 hookup fees on their own, with no input from the district. That's the stuff that we're fighting. And I'll be honest with you, that's what got me involved in some of this stuff lately. I'm sure you've seen some of the recordings. It's crazy. I mean, it's like, I want to say roughshod or whatever, but they're just have no authority from the district rules, this Montana code stated, that they can do this stuff. So let me give you a real short story. I want to put a septic tank, a hook on to the sewer system, this district. My family's had that property subdivided back in the start of this. My family was very involved in getting the sewer district established. So now it's been, what, over 30-some years. I want to go hook on. Pretty simple. I got, just like all the other ones, we got operator, engineer plans and such. I know I have to pay a $15 hookup fee because I did not pay that fee originally when the sewer district was established. Every lot within this district at that time, for us to be able to get the grant, we had to come up with money personally within the community. We all know what that's about with grants. So we had to come up with $1,500 per property. Some of us didn't have the money. Some of us didn't want to do anything with it. So I came up, we're gonna add a little fee and add another fee onto your bill to pay for that $1,500. Well, that was in the back of the original development. Since then, there's been other grants that we've gotten, but there historically are still these lots that haven't had anything done with them. They've already been approved within the district that time for being able to hook up. So I come in and I didn't see that, and the whole new application was new, and that was gone. And I asked Mr. Gould, why? And his excuse was, well, it was previous boards that did all that and changed it. We've got a mess out here, we can't find anything. It's like, that's great. We all expected that, it just from what we had here going around town. So I made a couple of suggestions to him. Contact the Secretary of State's office, get the articles of incorporation, the bylaws from there, at least you got something. I mean, the county has it as well, but the Secretary of State's office, you go to that, he did that. He wouldn't listen to it. Come back to another meeting. So 3 different times I come to a meeting, and I told him, you don't have the authority to change that fee, or even ask anybody in the community. I mean, again, this is something that happened a long time ago, and unless you've got directors from the past, and I'm willing, one of them, to enlighten, which I have been, but we are being turned away and shut out of the meeting because of this. So I'm not asking for you guys to tell us how to put a 2-inch pipe in a, whatever, 4-inch, but when we got problems with not working together as this community, we got a civil thing that doesn't say, well, it's criminal, but is it criminal if you're not following Montana code in an office that you sworn to get into? That's my question on that. So again, we would still have issues though, we don't know which way to go. But that's our question on that. So the county attorney would be great to answer those without just saying, not our responsibility. We're not going there. It's our responsibility in the district. But when it's bad characters in there, you gotta, we bring this stuff forward with documentations and stuff. We expect somebody in the county to go, here, that's the person to talk to. And again, Sheriff, I appreciate what you just did today, because that's the first I've heard that in over 30 years. from Lewis and Clark County official. Seriously, Mr. Hunt, Commissioner Hunthausen, you remember those times when we had those meetings and it was a lot of issues and stuff going on. Fortunately, we changed that situation by new members on the board, which is what we need to do right now with the recall. But Yeah, I don't know what to say out of that. When you turn around, I've asked 3 different times in the meetings for his resignation, so we didn't have to go through this at the expense. And also with Mike Leonard. They're not doing it, and they're laughing at us, thinking, sue us, get an attorney or whatever, because we're gonna do this. That's a lot of expense to the district. So, when we get this petition together for recall, I really appreciate this to be brought up at the next government day meeting, so we can talk about this and put this on our agenda. So that we're on this until we get this figured out, because I don't really wanna get involved in it from the roadblocks from the county, cause I can't afford it. I can't myself, but, yeah, we'd appreciate some direction. Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Are there any other comments? Appreciate you folks coming forward. We want to investigate this and do what we can. I do, but has anyone, I need to ask one question. First, has anyone approached an attorney about this situation on their own?
Can I address this? I mean, I'm speaking for myself, sir, but in order to interpret law,
Go ahead.
Frank Malik again. I'm no attorney, but I've worked with the government my whole life. But to interpret laws, especially that pertain to you on a board, that's your responsibility to figure that out. It's written in basic English. So we're just trying to get to that point to where we know that, okay, this is not right. We have different people agree, so on and so forth. And again, that's what I'm saying. Now we will bring this forward to the county to go, okay, this is what we got, instead of going, it's not our business. So, again, do we need an attorney? I don't know.
Susie Gearing again. So the previous board and the mess with that was the recommendation I got when my first stop was the Government Day County Commissioners. And what I was told by Ms. Payne was hire an attorney. Basically, dig in your own pocket, hire an attorney, which I did. And we were able to, through several avenues, replace the previous board, mostly because of their mistakes not registering themselves with the county. And we're, myself, and Sandy Conroy and Eric Gould, who I'd never met before, were appointed by the county commissioners to serve on the board. Once again, in this situation, dealing with the new board members, I was told, hire an attorney, which I am willing to do. I'm willing to get in my pocket and hire an attorney to deal with this, but my issue is that this is dire. When they fire the employees and leave the district without a manager and without a plan in place, hire an attorney is a long, drawn-out process, and I have actually made 2 calls since Monday to the attorney that was recommended by Andy for sewer districts, trying to hire him personally, can't even get a call back. So we're doing the petition, we're doing the recall. This community has drawn together with the help of some really informed individuals, mostly Roger, to draw up a recall petition. We will have that in town on Monday for approval by the county commissioner or the elections office and the county attorney. But once again, how long does that approval take? How long before we can even start gathering signatures for this petition? I would really encourage the commissioners to impress upon the county attorney that this is something that needs to be dealt with in a very timely fashion. Thank you.
Anything else?
If I could, just one more thing. Sorry. I know. So, going through all these boards, we all just heard that we had issues with the board before, and we got folks involved. Now we got issues with this board. So my question is out of this, we got all these board members that were appointed. You gotta be certified, and it's up to the Lincoln Sewer District and the board of directors to certify new applicants or new people go out. When we first started this whole thing, it was the county commissioners that did that. And that's how you start a corporation for county separation for that. So that was involvement in the beginning. So now we get down where we have complete dysfunctional boards, even at that time and this time. Who's certified from the district to you folks, the county commissioners, that this was all go? Please, no, because the district has to do that. We've got to certify who we're appointing or who's gonna be on the ballot. That's how you guys know that, hey, it's certified, because the district went, made sure residency, made sure all that stuff's there. And all directors sign on that where they're the co-chair or the chairman. Again, when that happened, and you guys, for the past two, and you accepted that, I say you guys, because it could be the election person too, you may not have seen it, I don't know. I don't think the community really knows what happened in all that past two boards when they got established. So I'd ask that question again, look at that, the forms that were put in there and were they done right? Because I question some of them myself, so, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to have this.
We'll take the information, I think we'd like to talk to you individually. That might be an appropriate way to do it. We're in a somewhat awkward situation because Montana law says that unless a meeting is announced and for scheduling for a particular purpose, that you can't have a majority or a quorum of a board to do it, and we are a majority in a board. So we're trying to do this legally, but I think individually after the meeting, we may want to talk to you folks.
Commissioner Frank Malaby,
Yeah.
is this gonna be on the next agenda or anything for Government Day? This is my statement, what I made before, that this needs to be still followed up on. And we got the community involvement with all these government heads and stuff around here, what a great deal. So to be able to help us as a community to get through this, regardless of what we were saying, we would like this to be on the government deal, so you folks know what's going on firsthand from the community. Does that sound reasonable, or is that
I'm
something to be done?
gonna check with the county attorney on this one before I go any further.
Okay.
All right?
I just want to make sure
Let you know.
that being on the agenda, I don't want to see what this is going on.
Yeah, public comment closed.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call public comment. We will close, there being no further public comment, we're gonna close the meeting, and then I think we should talk to you individually.
Well, you're gonna.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll make one comment.
Okay.
Just education. I guess first saying that the things that are potentially within our jurisdiction or our authority that we can follow through on, we will do that to our best ability with it. We'll try and learn about that. There's a couple of things that just for education purposes for people. This board, along with this board, I'll use us as an example, I'll use the sheriff as an example, we're independently elected officials. So, and I've used this example before, this board, we can't tell the city of Helena, their elected officials what to do. We can't tell Cascade County what to do. And in my understanding, in most instances, we can't tell another elected body what to do. They are elected by you, and the sheriff's elected by you. So unless the sheriff breaks the law or completely moves the speaker or something, then we can't really do anything about that. If I don't like the way the sheriff is running his office, you have to, in the next election, decide to hire someone else. The same thing with us. In addition to that, the legislature dictates this. So it's not us deciding, we just don't want to get involved. We have to ask and learn to our best knowledge from county attorney or whomever else about what we can and can't do. And the legislature has put in place what you have already described. I think there's a recall option, there's a redress option, there's litigation, there's the next election coming up in June. All of those things are what the legislature has put in place for the public's disposal to deal with their elected officials at any level throughout the thing. So sometimes, because someone doesn't like the way we are operating, there isn't someone just come in, and the sheriff can't just come in and tell us, you can't do that anymore, throw us out. We have to wait till the next election until we can be replaced by somebody. And that's the way it works. Now, I said the first comment in that if there is something we can do to assist, we will sure try to learn what that is and try to follow up on that. In addition, we are a sister government, if you will, to the sewer district. They are their own form of local government. And so if there's a way we can help, like, hey, here's how we run our meetings, here's how we keep our books, here's how we, do whatever it is we do from a procedural perspective, if we can help that way and teach or help each other learn how to do this, great, we're willing to do that. But I think our role is to stay within our jurisdiction and authority, and we have to do that. So when we have to learn what that specifically is, of course, in this case, and there might be some nuance there, but for the most part, they are an independently elected body, as we are, as sheriff is, and so I just want people to understand that out front. We are not their bosses, if you will, on a regular day-to-day basis. You are. No,
I know.
Chair has closed public comment, I believe, and I think we're willing to talk with people after the meeting if they want to do that.
Let's talk to you individually afterwards, and we will explore what can be done.
Wasn't that fun?